Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening the lid. You try banging on the lid. Maybe you can unsettle the dirt and somebody might dig their way down to help you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own. You just don't know where to get help. In reality, there are people standing by your grave. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might take something away that was given to you by God called life? And if that's not selfish, more selfishly is to take that life away from the people that count on you and need you and love you most. For example, people like your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, brother, sister, children, and even grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I'm reading about on these index cards that waited and waited until it was too late. Instead, pick up the phone and call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you I'll help you take your life back. For your life is gone. Larry Geis has 30 years experience as a life coach, addiction recovery coach. You can find him at 516-458-2741 or www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741 or www.odysseyconsultant.org. Folks, take your slippers off at night. Don't put them by the edge of your bed. Stick them directly under your bed. In the morning, when you drop to your knees to go retrieve them because they're under your bed now, praise the Lord. I call it an email. KNEE mail. That's your personal chat line between you and God. Thank God for the clothing, the home, the food on your table. Ask God for guidance and direction, mercy and forgiveness. Ask God to protect you, your loved ones, throughout the day, throughout the week, the year, your life. Put those slippers on. Stand straight up and walk with God 24/7. Do this tonight again. Take those slippers off, stick them under your bed, and tomorrow morning repeat it and pray to God again. Today we're going to talk about problems with memory and recovery. Early recovery can be a difficult time for people as they settle into their new life. Boy, that sun is bright today. For the first few weeks, they may even have to deal with physical withdrawal symptoms. There will be also a huge challenge facing life without the assistance of the chemicals they were indigesting. The symptoms that can be particularly upsetting for the people are the mental ones, such as, problems with the memory, which is a huge one. The individual may worry that they will never experience mental clarity again. For most people, this fuzzy brain will only be a temporary problem. Let's see if I can somehow get this here. Fuzzy brain in early recovery. One of the symptoms that people complain about during the first few weeks in recovery is the feeling that their brain is full of wool. They're thinking this feels fuzzy, and they have the problems remembering things all the time. These symptoms occur when the number of reasons, including the brain has adapted in order to survive the alcohol and drug abuse. It can take a bit of a time to readjust to a new situation. When people first become sober, they may be suffering from nutritional deficiencies. These can lead to mental fogginess and other problems. Moving from addiction to recovery is an adjustment that people can sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed by at all. Those people who have been addicted for many years will have been chemically numbing their emotions. When their emotions come alive again, it can lead to great mental highs and lows. Some individuals will have suffered from brain damage as a result of their substance abuse. In some instances, these symptoms may be as a result of dual diagnosis. When people become sober, they are faced with new realities. It takes time to adjust to a whole new life. Post-acute withdrawal symptoms. After the initial period of withdrawal symptoms has come to an end, people can continue to experience problems. One of the most common things that people complain about is continued fuzzy thinking and memory problems. This is referred as acute withdrawal symptoms, otherwise known as PAWS. As well as problems with memory, there are other symptoms associated with PAWS, including problems with sleep. This can mean the individual needs to sleep at odd times of the day or that they are unable to sleep at night. The individual may find that they are highly emotional. A minor inconvenience can feel like the end of the world. Inability to concentrate. Repetitive thinking. The individual may feel like their thoughts are out of control and are just going around in circles. The individual may struggle to solve problems and puzzles that previously were easy before they started doing drugs and alcohol. The symptoms of PAWS can last for as long as 6 months after people have entered into recovery. Nutritional deficiencies. One of the reasons why people will experience memory problems in early recovery is that they are suffering from nutritional deficiencies. These happen because the individual will have missed out on balanced diet as a result of their addiction. Some addicts find it hard to eat and use drugs, and when they can eat, they turn to junk food. Alcoholics may end up replacing food with empty calories found in alcoholic beverages. This means that these individuals miss out on important nutrients, which lead to problems with mental clarity. In most instances, these symptoms will disappear once the individual returns to a normal, balanced diet. Alcohol dementia. Some chronic alcoholics end up severe damage to the brain as a result of nutritional deficiencies. In the case of vitamin B1, alcoholic dementia is actually the result of two conditions: Wernicke's encephalopathy and Kawasaki syndrome. These two sets of symptoms tend to happen, so usually alcohol dementia is referred to as the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Alcoholic dementia is also sometimes called wet brain. The symptoms of this can include the following: difficult remembering things, false memory and confabulation, inability to form new memories, loss of memories, agitation and paranoia, mental confusion and lack of muscle coordination, involuntary eye movement, hallucinations. These symptoms of alcohol dementia are as a result of damage to the brain, folks. Once this damage has happened, it cannot be repaired, but treating the nutritional deficiency will prevent any further problems with the brain. It is also possible to reverse symptoms if the condition is treated early enough. It may take a bit for an individual to regain mental clarity, but they can and then be able to enjoy a full, rewarding recovery. It will be vital that the individual remains absent from alcohol for the rest of their life. They will also need to be careful to eat a well-balanced diet. Dual diagnosis and recovery. One of the reasons why some people are dealing with problems with mental clarity is that they are suffering from dual diagnosis. This means that they have mental problem alongside their addiction, and they may not even be aware of it. A dual diagnosis can include the conditions such as depression, anxiety disorder, psychosis, schizophrenia, panic disorder, mania, borderline personality. In some cases, the individual may have developed this other mental problem as a result of substance abuse, folks. In other cases, it will have been symptoms of these conditions that drove them towards substance abuse in the first place. They were self-medicating their problems to get through the days. Dangers associated with memory problems in recovery. These memory problems that people experience in recovery can be extremely worrying. The individual may feel embarrassed by them and wonder if things will ever get better. The dangers associated with memory problems include the following. Individual may decide that these symptoms mean the recovery itself is not a satisfying option. They may use their justification to relapse back to their addiction. The individual may turn to a maladaptive behavior such as behaviors as a means to escape the problems with their fuzzy thinking. The individual may fail to do things they need to do in order to stay sober and build a life from their addiction. People may feel disillusioned and bitter about their problems. Even if they remain physically sober, they could still develop dry drunk symptoms. If people are suffering from dual diagnosis, they will need to get the other conditions treated or they will suffer severely. folks, these are a lot of the signs that a lot of people that are drinking and drugging excessively. The most important thing, an individual remains absent from alcohol and drugs to regain their memory. If they relapse, they will only go further into mental and physical problems to look forward to. In many instances, these many memory problems will be as a result of nutritious deficiency. So please, folks, stop the drinking, stop the drugging, and start eating properly. And I hope this segment was helpful for you, and may God bless you.